in MA2, I always have been worried about like cloning stuff when you get to a fixed rig, where you maybe have the double amount or have a odd amount of fixtures. Then when you're distributing that, you have maybe to program it all again because of the delay time wouldn't fit. And if you are using the recipes, it's all taken care of in that.
Hi, and welcome back to the Event Lighting channel. In this episode, we are going to talk to August Thede. August is a Danish lighting tech, lighting designer, technical guy, and he does all kinds of different things. He is really onto the MA3 platform now, and we're going to take a hard look into his show file. This video is part 1 of 2. It's been quite a long conversation with August. We start by talking about him and who he is and how he started in the business, and then we move on to looking at his show file and how he utilizes recipes into his workflow, and recipes does all of it. So I hope you're going to enjoy this video, and let's just get into it. So welcome, August, and I'm very happy that you could join me today on my little channel here.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Full disclaimer, before we start, August and I know each other. We have been working together for quite a few years on all kinds of different things. So maybe you could start by telling us a little bit about yourself, and of course we have some images to show as well, but let's start with you. How did you get into the business?
Yeah, I'm, as Tue said, August, and I'm 25 years old. I am from a little town called Haderslev, where I know Tue from. And right now I'm based off in Roskilde, close to Copenhagen in Denmark. And yeah, I have worked in this industry for around 10 years, what can you say, professionally. Starting off when I was quite young, doing all of the mobile disco stuff, played to a lot of parties. Yeah, and then I actually ended up after I was finished lower school, it's called that. I was going to boarding school close to Haderslev as well, where they have had a line with the technical stuff, doing all sort of lighting and sound and video for the other on the boarding school, you know, so making lights for the dance shows and the theater shows and all of that. So yeah, I used a year.
How old are you when you start that? And it's part of the normal school.
Yeah, it is. It's you know, like, it's just after, I think it's called preschool actually, and then you can go 1 year more if you are not ready for the middle school, and then I have my 10th grade down there, doing all of that and getting more into the business, and that's also where first we met, you and me.
Yes.
Because I have been to the same school as your son, and on that behalf we start talking to each other. And I remember that
yes.
I borrowed your desk for some weeks.
Yes.
I was really proud of that.
Carried it up into your mom's apartment.
Exactly, that was a big change for me, I guess. That was really nice. So after that we keep talking, you and me, and you was like, what can you say? You was like a what's called a coach for me actually. So we keep in touch, and after the boarding school, I started as a trainee in Nordic, where you also have worked, and I started on the education up in Frederikshavn at EUC Nord. It's called the event technician, where you can go to school for 4 years, and together with some time in school, you also have the time in the company, so you get a good knowledge of what is to work in this business in Denmark, and you know, just get a lot of knowledge of that. So yeah, I went to that school for 4 years.
So it's a 4-year, maybe for foreigners. It's a 4-year. I think it's a 4-year education where you go through school, and then you are in a company, and then school in a company for 4 years to get into the business, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And it's around 1 year school in total, and then 3 years of practical, what it's called in the company. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and in that time I got to do a lot of great jobs, and both doing warehouse stuff, like packing all of the boxes, loading the trucks, making maintenance on all of the fixtures, and get a lot of different knowledge, not only of lighting in general, but also how to be, like a nice human, and how to meet productions at festivals, and how to talk to other people, and also build up a network. And I think that's a really important thing to do in this business.
It's not what you know, it's who you know sometimes.
Yeah, exactly, and also who you
Yeah.
are as a humankind, of course.
Yes, of course, of course.
Yeah.
But we have some pictures of some of the work you've done, and the school you talked about is here, and maybe you can explain this this image. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah. This is actually one of my little side projects I do. This is a Christmas light display that I have been working on different places since I was 40 or 15 years old. Starting off back to my mom as my mom's balcony. I started there, and then I moved to a bigger house, and now I'm ended up making the display down on the boarding school, and I think that's just, really cool. So the school is located on a big, close to a big road where you can drive through, and you can park on each side of the building. And then I have put up a FM transmitter, so actually you can tune in to the to the FM channel and listen to the music, and that's actually quite cool, and it's lovely to see both the kids and older people, like getting in the Christmas spirits, in December.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
I can say as a local in this area, this is something people really talk about, and people actually go see it. And my wife actually forced me to go down and see it as well, which I
yeah,
think is
exactly.
kind of cool because I know you and all this stuff. But maybe we could
Yeah,
move on to the next image here. Some of the
yeah.
work you've done
That's
in a disco, I guess.
yeah, that's from my recent what can you say, installation, or in a nightclub. I do quite. I think I've done almost 10 nightclubs so far with different lighting installs, both the pixels or mostly pixels, but also like lighting stuff, and making the control as easy for the DJ and for the owner to run like a more complicated lighting show, even on small spaces. So in this picture, I have I think I'm mapping in the Matrix software all of the pixel stuff in the roof or in the ceiling, as you see. Yeah, so I do quite a lot of that also.
So basically installations to make it easier for the DJs and owners to do the complicated stuff, and you
Yeah,
do all the technical stuff, and they just operate it.
exactly, and
Yeah,
also in cooperation with a lot of MA stuff and all of that. So yeah.
yeah. Cool. Let's move on to this image, which looks kind of cool as well.
Yeah, this is actually from a museum where I was a vice man for a local electrical company that has to do some renovation and some expansion on a large scale pixel display.
Hmm?
So I was helping them out, figuring out some a new way to map it on, and to get easy and a more reliable control of all of that, and then also supplied them with some LED tapes and some stuff of that. So so that's running also a quite big setup with I think it's way more than 400 universes active at the same time. So it's also
This
a,
is
a
it.
pretty it's a pretty pretty big one, but it's fun.
Yeah, but
I also I,
it's really
I like
cool.
the challenges, because I remember when I was young, and I believed that one universe you can never gonna fill that out, and now look at some of this. That's quite funny.
Yeah, but I think you are known as kind of a very nice guy and also very nerdy around all these things with doing like custom solutions and all kinds of different stuff. I think you are very versatile in what you do. You do all from large concerts and down to museums and discos and Christmas lights, and so you really have it in your blood, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just
Yeah.
like doing what I like to and do what I love. So
Yeah. Let's move on
yeah.
to another image here from a TV production in MA2 mode.
Yes, this is a show for the Danish crown prince and princess.
Yes.
This is some of the latest shows I did in the fall last year. Yeah, and when I first started as a trainee in Nordic, I really wanted to be more like a lighting programmer, but I still
Mm.
want to have all of the knowledge of the technical stuff behind. Um,
Yeah.
and that's not just only the MA side, but down to all of the system side, and actually also down to the lamp and the cabling stuff. So
Yeah.
whenever we have something that's failed, I could maybe easily or with a little knowledge of some of the products we are using, I could maybe try to find and seek some errors on that. And
Yeah.
that's actually helping me a lot, especially when you're sitting behind the desk, because sometimes it's a operation error, and sometimes it actually is a faulty lamp. So
Yeah.
so so on my way down behind the lighting desk, I have used a lot of time of all of that also. But
Yeah.
it makes sense when you are maybe mostly doing programming stuff now. It's good to know all of the other stuff as well.
Of course. And your role in a
Yeah.
production like this, you are supporting the designer, or how does this work?
Yeah, and this particularly show, I was just like an programmer for the lighting designer, and I was also helping out with setting up the rig and the system. So I have
Okay.
like a double role. Yeah,
Yeah.
but in this case, right now on the picture, I'm the programmer, and also when we are doing the show, I'm also running all of the effect lighting and so
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Next one here is another TV show, quite a
Yeah,
big one.
that's an yearly sports event we're doing. Where I has been the programmer for, I think it's maybe the second year I've been on that one.
Yeah.
That's a quite big one to start on off the year. And on this show we actually are three lighting guys. We are me as the programmer, and then we have the lighting designer, and we also have a guy running off the white lights, the key lights for the
Yeah.
personal lighting. Yeah, so that's
But all
also
in all in the same session, all in the same MA session.
exactly is one big session, all of it. So we can touch and tweak each other's lamps at all points. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And annoy each other.
exactly, and help each other at least.
Next one
Yeah,
here, another TV show.
yeah, that's also from the Danish Eurovision for kids this year,
Yeah.
where I also was a programmer, and as well on that show with another team. But we was also a lighting designer and a key light programmer, and then I was also a programmer on that one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
and
nice.
still
So
running mode 2, but
yeah, but we have to fix that.
yeah, exactly.
Moving on,
uh,
another TV production. Which one is
yeah,
that?
this is actually an esport event. I think this is from last year. Uh, from a big arena esports event. I'm
Yeah.
also doing currently, yeah, different places. I think this is from Royal Arena in Denmark.
Yeah.
Also is a lighting programmer. And on this show, we also have a lot of video stuff, which we also has to take care of. And
Yeah.
yeah, so there's also a lot of
Really
time
nice.
using. Exactly. And this is a quite new picture. It's only, I think it's 3 weeks ago. Me doing a Danish rock band with the Mode 2, Mode 3 show that I'm
Yeah.
currently in, and having a blast with that. So that's really, really great.
Yeah, and it's a really cool band, I can say, as a Danish person.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
Moving on to the
Yes.
last one.
Yeah, and that's actually also I think it's 4 weeks ago at the
Yeah.
Roskilde Festival, where I was a FOH technician together with you
Yeah.
actually, and
Yes.
two other guys in Roskilde Festival. And that's also something I actually like to do a lot because I really think it's nice to meet all of the touring guys that's coming and girls to the festivals and helping them out, making them having a good day, and maybe help them solve some issues and stuff. So
Yeah, I
that's
think
also
that's really interesting. As you said, we did this festival together. What is it, 3 or 4 weeks ago?
yeah,
I think all the technical stuff, integrating different designers' shows into our system and helping them out with IP addresses and networking issues, and I think is really exciting. And we are basically going to do another festival next week, you and I, in
yeah,
Skanderborg in Denmark, which is
exactly,
similar size, a little bit smaller, but also quite a big festival, actually.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, what we can say is the versatility of your work is amazing. You do all kinds of different stuff, and it all has to do with lighting. And I can say you made quite a big career in very, very fast. I mean, as a 25-year-old, it's been really, really fast. So
Yeah,
that's really good on you.
exactly. Exactly. I
So
feel lucky
should we?
sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think it's luck.
Yeah,
I think talent is quite as important as well.
agreed.
So should we take a look at your show file maybe, and maybe you could explain what it is you want to show us today in this MA3 tutorial here, or whatever it is, showcase.
Yeah, let's do that. Um, so what we're looking at now is an MA3 show file that I have been using for this Danish rock band this summer. And what I want to talk about is how I built up this file because I did the same band and the same show last year, but in mode 2. And it was important for me this summer that I have to make the jump onto the MA3 software and using the benefits that we haven't had on the MA2. And yeah, in that way, I just want to show how the file is built up and how I use especially the recipe stuff.
So how has the transition been for you, transitioning into three?
I think it has been quite cool, but I don't think you have to think about MA3 as I have to do like in MA2. I think we have to think about MA3 as a new way to program, especially if you want to use all of the recipes. Because I think the recipe is in MA world is quite a big game changer because of it's really versatile and it's yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but I really like to do a lot of delay things, like where you have left to right in an
Yeah,
amount of time. And my issue have always been when I'm programming such advanced stuff. In MA2, I always have been worried about like cloning stuff when you get to a fixed rig, where you maybe have the double amount or have a odd amount of fixtures. Then when you're distributing that, you have maybe to program it all again because of the delay time wouldn't fit. And if you are using the recipes, it's all taken care of in
yeah,
that. Yeah.
cool.
So first off, I will start to showing what I have in my show file. I starting offing my song that's running, and now you see I have a standard queue running. And if we jump into that, I have it down here. I will just select it, and I'm using the shortcuts here right now. So if I'm clicking on some strange stuff is just because I have the keyboard.
Yeah.
So now I just selected my standard, and if we have a look into that, I have a lot of recipes down here. So in the beginning of my programming this show, I was really sure that I should only do this in recipes, all of it, and that's has been my point of going to this. So as you see, I have my groups here. That's is just references to the groups that I have in my group pool.
Yeah.
Then I have my values, and all of my values is my presets, reference to the preset pool. And in this queue is my standard, so that's my default queue. So whenever I turn that on, I know that my fixtures is ready for show and they are doing like something, not just from the default.
So you're using this in between songs or only in the beginning of the show?
No, this is active all the time. So
Okay.
So whenever something is happening, I know if I turn on a fader with my with some of my lamps on the floor, they are always in this state.
Okay.
And also, if I'm having fixtures with different attributes as I have programmed, this is also taken care of, because if my all spots is strange or having some attributes that I didn't program from the beginning, I can always just store that into the preset called band. So
And that's the
because
power
this
of
is
recipes. You can put anything into the preset, and it will simply just look at whatever is inside the preset today.
exactly at all the time. So whenever something is acting up weird, or maybe the beam, the shutter channel is strange, or maybe we have a dimmer too, God forbid that, but sometimes you have, then you can
Yes.
just store that into the preset, and then you're sure that it's running that all the time.
Yeah.
You could also had made a default preset, but I actually like to have it here, because when I have to maybe to find some errors, I can always off my standard queue, and then I can see what is the fixture actually doing.
Yeah, so we can say with recipes, all the default stuff doesn't really matter anymore as much as it used to do.
No, exactly, because you just store that into the presets, and then it is used whenever the preset is used.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And for this show, I have it's split in two parts. It's I have my floor package, and then I have, of course, my festival rig, which I'm using not as much, but I'm using it. I'm still using it a bit, and that's including the spots fixtures, the wash fixtures, and of course strobe, blind, and some front lights as well.
Yeah, and everything is
So
recipes, even your floor package.
yeah, all of it is, and I will come back to that later. Why that's a clever idea to do it when you are reprogramming stuff.
Yeah.
But if we just have a look at this, all of my spots is actually just a top spot for each of the band members. So I have a preset called band, and in that preset, my position, my beam, and the focus stuff is in. And if they have some kind of shape or some weird, I just store that into that too. So the values is coming from somewhere. So all of my attributes, but color and dimmer, I have that in and shutter, I have that in this preset.
Okay.
Yeah, and the next one is like the color preset, just called white, and the third is my shutter preset for the standard spots. And moving down to the washes, you see I have a position preset.
Yes.
I have actually two position presets. I don't know why. Okay, that's that's strange. I shouldn't have that.
No.
But
And
that's
then you
maybe
have
because this have to be color. Yeah. Then you find the error fix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for that. You always do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on this one, I also have position, my color, my beam, and my focus. And that's what I'm using off from the spots, from the washes. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is how you build your default state, basically.
Exactly. Moving down, I have my floor package here: beams, strobes, side lights, floor lights, and some band lights. And then I have added some extra stuff down here that I added on later on.
Yeah.
And this, as said, this queue is always running. So whenever my show queue list is off, I always have this active.
So basically, what your song queue lists are doing is taking over or overriding this until it's not active anymore, and it goes back to the standard state.
Exactly. So whenever I release something, I not ending up in the default, but I'm ending up in my standard look. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Exactly.
Once again, a small word from our sponsor, Martin Professional. This time we're going to look at the XIP from Martin, relatively new fixture released from them. The cool thing about the XIP is that it is an IP-rated fixture, so you can basically use it outdoors all year round if you want to. And if you are using it for an architectural installation, for instance, and it's standing somewhere lighting up against the wall, if it starts raining, at some point the head is going to fill up with water. And Martin has implemented a kind of cool feature to get rid of this problem. So let's just take a look at it in here in the software. If you go into your wash lights, in my case the Aura XIP, I can go into my control channel and go all the way down to the end. We have some new things down here. We have empty water and we have outdoor. Let's start by the empty water. If you go into empty water and set this to on, it's going to automatically detect if the house is filled with water, and it's going to empty it once in a while. And that's really cool. The other thing you can do is you can do it manually. Let's say you start your show and you just want to make sure that there's no water in the fixtures. So you go into your outdoor here and you simply click this one called empty head, and the fixture will turn off. It will tilt all the way to the side and make sure that there's no water in it, and it will go back and do what it was doing before. So that is some cool features about the Aura XIP from Martin, and once again, thank you, Martin, for sponsoring this episode. Let's continue with the video.
So moving on, we can have a look at my show. This is my show page, and for now on, I have selected my standard. But whenever I touch down here on one of my song macros, you see it's gonna be selected.
Yes.
And the way I'm running this show is I'm running off the song macros, but instead of tapping the macros, I'm having in the bottom of all of the songs. Sorry, I just have to show the command here.
Yes.
Instead of running the macros one by one, I'm actually having a next song macro in the last queue of all of my songs.
Yeah, so if you move the pages around, this will always work to the next song if they change the setlist.
Exactly. So up here, I have my page side where I can select my pages. If they are changing the set list, I simply just, move this song like this. And then when I have played this song, it will play the next one and the next one and the next one.
Yeah, and then you can use the macros in the bottom to go straight to a certain song if you want to.
Exactly. If they are playing something wrong or if anything should happen. Yeah. Exactly.
Really cool.
And so if you have a look at the macros, it is setting a user war or a war that I'm actually not currently using, but I have used that before in my MA2 file for listing effects and stuff. But I'm not using this at the moment in this file, but maybe it'll come later on.
Yeah.
Then I'm using instead of having all of the speed that is into all of the recipes, I'm using the speed master. And because I'm doing this is this is a older Danish rock band, and they are not playing off from backtrack. So actually, some days, if they are a little bit tired, or if they want to go quick to the bar, they're playing either slowly or faster. So
Yeah.
actually, I'm using the Speedmaster, and then I have it on one of my knobs, having the Speedmaster there, so I can toggle that forward and backwards if they are playing a little bit faster or a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's just selecting the page, selecting the fader, and then it's pushing the fader at 100 in
Okay.
case it isn't. Yeah. So, and this is actually just go it at the first cue in each song. So this is just whenever I have the first cue running like this, it's
Yeah.
going the macro and it's changing my Speedmaster. Yeah,
Okay.
as simply as that. And if we have a look at the next song macro, which is this one, it's just selecting the next page, selecting the fader, set the fader at 100, go to the cue number 1, and while it's going to cue number 1, it's also firing the song macro. So
Yes.
that is taking care of the speed. Then it's going a page behind, offing the old executor. So we are offing the previous song. Then we're
Yeah.
going back to the next page.
Yeah. Really clever.
Yeah, yeah. So that's also how we're doing it on MA2. So
Yeah.
nothing changed there. So how the song is built up is that I have all of my different songs in different cue lists, and instead of using the old choose a group, choose a preset, and store it, I have it all in my recipes as shown here.
Yeah.
So this is my pre-cue. Not a lot happens. If you're clicking next, we have start, and you see here I'm having a lot of demo stuff on different groups.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at I don't know if you can see the Visivic also behind me, but I think it's here.
No, you can't right now.
Okay,
Maybe
it's
you
fine.
could change the image over on your.
I can change I can do like this, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you see if I go cue back or something, you see it's gonna fade out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just running some cues. Yeah. So I'm just gonna tapping into the next song
Yeah.
because it's
You have quite a few cues in this song.
yeah, this is but this is also a pretty long song.
Yeah.
So
Maybe you put the MA image back.
Yeah, I'll do that.
There we go.
Yeah, just gonna jump into I think I'll take this song. Yeah. So yeah, as told before, all of the cue list is made out of recipes, and there's two things about this. One of the things is that can always adjust, the local fixtures that I'm using. And that's it. I also can use the show file later on if I want to use it as a touring. Maybe I have a fly out show where I can't have my floor package with me. I can actually using all of my other groups that I'm having for my floor lights right now. I can use that in maybe in another rig or with the house lamps, the house rig that's on there. So this file I can actually make a flyout show without having anything programmed, and I can just fill in the groups with different lamps I want to use and update all of the presets.
And the cool part is, which I think is really amazing, is you don't have to clone basically anything like you used to on the MA2. Of course, you need to clone if you want to make sure if you introduce a new fixture into your show and you wanted to know all your colors and all your beam stuff and all your presets. But you don't have to. You can just build them again if you want. I mean, just build your preset page and you're done.
Exactly. It's really easy, and also because this is a festival setup, I have some dedicated cue list for focusing stuff. So actually, you can just forget all of it and then running those 2 or 3 cue lists before the show, and then you're good to go. Actually, so
Yeah. So no cloning involved.
no, exactly, no cloning at all. Only storing groups and like using time on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how all of the cues are built up. So if we have a look at the next cue here, we see I also have added a matrix. And the nice thing about this is whenever I changing my group or my what's can it be? It could be also be my preset.
Yeah.
They will always look at what group it is, and then they will take care of it by the matrix that I have selected from the matrix pool. And that's also really, really nice. I'm using a lot of like standard or normal thesis, and then down here I have my specials for all of the songs, because maybe I have like a time it out delay or something that I want to use. Then I can pick it in here. That's also really powerful, because in MA2 I always programmed all of the effects as like a single pool item for all of my types, having different selections and different matrix assigned to them. And in this one, in MA3, I actually only have I can show you, I don't have that much phasers. So you see, maybe this song is only 4 phasers.
Yeah.
And then I'm using the same phaser on different groups and with different matrices. And I think these are just with different measures and different, like ramps on the dimmer. So yeah, this is also a really, really, really great way to do this, because you.
I have a small show as well, and I have maybe, I think, 10 phaser effects I use in the entire show, because I basically just use the dimmer sign, for instance, and then I manipulate it in the recipe line. And then,
Exactly.
because the song is never going to change and the tempo is never going to change, because we actually use a backtrack. So I just set it in the recipe line, and that's so easy to do.
Exactly, and that's really a really nice way to do it, because I don't think I ever did a show with this a big of an impact, but with this less phases, or I have called it effects, but yeah, that's just that's just me. So yeah. So the next
I
thing
have to ask you a question just before we move on, because you get a lot of talk from people, and they say, "Oh, using recipes takes a long time."
Yeah.
I built my entire show on recipes, and it did take me a long time in the beginning. But what I came to realize is when I actually was finished with it, I didn't use any extra time, because there's some things that takes a lot of time, and there's some shortcuts which is really fast. So I think that's my opinion anyway, when I'm done with it, it didn't take longer.
No, exactly. I think this process for me has taken a longer time, because I have to, like wrap my head around and making sure I didn't always go back to the old MA2 way to program, but using all of the MA3 benefits. So that's what had taken the longest time for me. But yeah, as you said, it takes time, and also because of it's a bit, it takes a lot of time right now, like changing all of this. And it's not that easy. I hope they will make it easier. Maybe if you can, like in the old days, tab a group, tab a preset, tab a matrix, and then if you maybe can store that as a recipe, that will be a really, really game changer for me. And then I actually think we are in a pretty good place with all of this recipe, because it is taking a lot of time to make all of the lines as it is right now.
Yeah, but then as soon as you get into programming, I found out that if you mark if you have like 20 recipe lines in one song and you want to reuse some of it in another song, you simply go back and you press Control and you mark the lines you want to reuse, copy
Yeah, exactly.
C, Control C,
Yeah.
and then Control V into your new song. So starting to reuse this stuff actually makes it a lot faster.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think because now you don't have to think about hard values anymore, or like values from presets. I actually think copying cues and all of that it seems a bit cleaner to me actually. Yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
also thinking a lot about tracking and all of that all the time.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually also a quite good way to doing it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it
think
takes some
the
time.
overview, the sometimes when you're sitting and you program the old way, you would have to open a track sheet and say, okay, what did I do here? Why is it behaving like it is behaving? That is so
Exactly.
easy with recipes, but you just step back and the recipe lines change and you see, okay, it changes in Q4, and then, okay, I did something wrong here, I just change it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really like nice way to seeing it.
Yeah,
I actually don't think I have used the tracking sheet on this show at all because I know what's in the queues because I can see it in all of the recipes and yeah,
yeah.
and I know if something is changed, it must be something around in the lines. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I have a small media server on the show I do, and
yeah,
so then you choose layer number 2, for instance, and then when you go down and you find out that I just set everything up in queue number 1, choose my layer and do all the banks and clips and presets I need, and then we scroll down into the list and you find out in queue 20 that, oh damn, I should have used layer 3. Then you just
yeah,
scroll up into queue number 1, change your layer from 2 to 3, and you're done.
exactly. It's yeah, it's much easier. And also, as you said, if you're doing more complicated stuff, maybe you have a big phaser effect or you have something that's running, you can just copy and paste a line and add it down and change maybe the group to maybe you want the floor lights to do the same as the roof or as
Yeah,
the house lights, then you can easily do that. So
yeah,
yeah, I really think this is an awesome way to program.
definitely. So this is part 1 of August Thede's show file. I really hope you can see some of the benefits of using recipe in your GrandMA3 programming. Next week we are going to continue and we are going to start looking at how he integrates a new rig into his show file whenever he arrives at a new festival using the power of MVR, My Virtual Rig. You import the rig into your show file and then you integrate all these new fixtures into your show. So that's going to be next week. I hope you enjoyed this episode and I hope you're going to give the video a like. That's going to indicate to YouTube that you like it and it's going to show it to more people. And until I see you next time, have fun doing some GrandMA3 programming. See you next time. Bye-bye.